room. Come on in the room. Bucks win it tonight, 139-118 over the New Orleans Pelicans. Mardi Gras over. Bucks taking all the beads, butt naked on Bourbon Street, and we walking through the French Quarter. 139-118. The Bucks beat the Pelicans tonight. Good stuff from your Milwaukee Bucks. Good stuff. Gotta love it. Bucks now winners 6 of their last 7, and they are streaking, if you will. Come on in the room. Doc is our doctor. As to give us our medicine in our room. We are live. Chris
King.
Justin.
Yeah. Everybody's in the building tonight. Come on in the room. Get at us in the chat. Get at us on the YouTube. We'll get at your comments, your thoughts, your questions, all of the above. Want to have some fun tonight. You know the deal. If you're coming in the room, hit that like button on the way in. If you are excited, MW Balls is another one. If you are excited about the Milwaukee Bucks winning 6 of their last 7, if you're excited about a 20-point dub on the road in the Smoothie King Center, if you're excited about all of that, and you're excited the Bucks going to go home and get a big-time homestand, and you're going to get Giannis back at some point, and if you're feeling the momentum of this Milwaukee Bucks team, hit that like button on the way in. 139-118, Bucks beat the New Orleans Pelicans. All right, let's do it with a game recap to start this one out for your Milwaukee Bucks. What a game. What a game from these guards. Ryan Rollins, 27, 2 boards, 6 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Yeah, and his 2 blocks were nice. 2 really nice blocks. 10 of 15 from the field, 66%. He was 7 of 10 from 3. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody who took a shot attempt tonight, except for everybody who took a shot attempt tonight was over 50% except for AJ Green. Everybody who took a shot attempt tonight was over 50% except for AJ Green. So offensively, the Bucks absolutely cooked tonight. Rollins, no exception, had 2 turnovers, but he was great. KPJ, 25, 2 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals for him. He was 10 of 15 from the field, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, plus 12. Jericho Sims, 4.6 rebounds, 2 blocks, got himself into a little foul trouble, played 18 minutes. But I thought in the minutes he was there outside of the fouls, thought he was good. Kyle Kuzma, I asked this on Twitter during the games, is he a good, bad player, or is he a bad, good player? I don't know which one it is. I really don't. But there are moments where Kuz hits buckets and flurries, and then there's moments where he's turning the ball up. I can't call it. But again, I thought 25 minutes, impactful minutes from Kyle Kuzma. Defensively, they had a tough task. No Miles Turner, obviously no Giannis, so the rim protection was light. And Kuz had to body up with Derek Queen. He had to body up with Zion Williamson. 14 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds for him, 6 of 11 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, plus 15. AJ Green, I heard there's people who want to talk about AJ Green on this program tonight. No points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. Team high, plus 22 on the night. Bobby Portis, give him a double-double, 17-11, 1 assist, 1 block, 8 of 12 from the field. Your boy, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 3 of 6 from the field. Sound like people playing marbles around here. Pete Nance, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists from Pete Nance. Pete Nance, I thought the game got physical, especially in that 4th quarter. And I didn't think Nance was bringing the physicality. And then it was right around time I said that early in the 4th. He knocked down a couple threes, got a couple rebounds, played a little. So I'm always overall impressed with Pete Nance. But again, Cam Thomas, 27, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 11 of 17, 1 of 6 from 3. But I mean, Cam, get it off the rim, Thomas, because he's putting it up every single time. And then you had the bench players come in. But, I mean, there was a moment. I think Cam Thomas had 18 points in the second quarter, something like that. The highest quarter for him, I think, his career. The fourth highest quarter from maybe the fourth highest second quarter, fourth highest quarter from a Buck all time. Cam Thomas he's an absolute bucket getter. And so that was the Bucks. On the New Orleans side, I think Sadiq Bey, 22-6. Zion Williamson, for a moment, Zion Williamson was unstoppable in this game. 32-2-2. Derek Queen, 18-8-4, 3 steals, 2 blocks, but he was a turnover king. Derek Queen was a turnover king. Herb Jones, 8 points, 4 rebounds. Jeremiah Fears, 16-4. Jordan Poole, 3 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He had a deep 3 to start the game and was 1-6 for the rest of it. But this one was an interesting game because, again, you don't have Miles Turner. You don't have, again, that's a concern too. Calf strain for him. So that's going to be a question mark as how long he's out. But you don't have Miles Turner. You don't have Giannis. There's no rim protection at all on this basketball team outside of Jericho Sims. And he's in foul trouble. So there was a point in time where the Pelicans, even though the Pelicans couldn't stop the Bucks, the Pelicans, it was a layup line to the basket over and over and over and over again. And again, a lot of people, we give Doc a lot of flack, but tonight where I want to give Doc a lot of credit, because in that first half, you have Bobby out there just not doing anything defensively. Sims in foul trouble. Pete Nance not matching the physicality. And your guys are too small under the basket to defend anybody outside of trying to poke around steals. And in that first half, Queen and Sadiq Bey and Zion got to the rim at will. In the second half, they walled it up a little better. They fouled a little. I think it was intentional to me. They fouled a little more. They were much more physical. That game got much more physical. And they just didn't allow New Orleans to bully them to the basket the entire game. And that was the difference. That was the difference because New Orleans was, from the three-point line, they were 4 of 25 from 3. Bucks were 15-36. It's hard. That math doesn't add up. That's tough math. Bucks took 92 shots tonight. New Orleans 86. That's the math we're talking about that you have to change. Bucks won the rebounding battle 37-36. Those are the things. Still a little bit turnovers, but those were the differences for the Bucks. And I thought, again, night and day protecting the rim different in the first half and the second half. And offensively, I mean, between KPJ, Ryan Rollins, and Cam Thomas, you can't ask. We talk about it all the time. I'll leave it this. We talk about it all the time. For the Bucks to be good, those guards have got to play well. You need at least 2 of the 3 to play well. Tonight you had, and we talk about usually KPJ and Rollins. Now you had Cam Thomas to the mix. Now you have all 3. They are going to be tough. You add Giannis to this, that's a very tough team to beat. Let me do a super chat. NYC Randy super chat. He says, busy today, just stopping by to say, let's go Bucks. Appreciate you, NYC. Always appreciate you checking in. And the Bucks do get a win, so we hope you'll be back in the fold again as you get in the momentum. Mr. B's in the super chat. He says, great team win and might be a stretch. Though, perhaps bringing back the Saturday show on here on your JTs, JTs, and C's. Just okay, Mr. B's is asking for basically on your T. Well, we could rebrand it to all your JT, TJs, all that. We do a lot of different things. So again, appreciate the super chat there, Mr. B's. Again, though, it was a good win tonight. You won 6 of your last 7. Charlotte and Atlanta lost tonight, which is huge in the standings. I'm feeling the momentum. That's what I saw to do. What do you think?
Man, a whole lot of the same thing you saw. I think one thing that I don't know about you guys, but this sounds a bit strange to say, but after watching this Bucks team, you're watching a team in 11th place. Fellas, I'm starting to feel inspired, right? And again, I know it's Mardi Gras, whatever. I'm starting to feel a little bit inspired by looking at the way this team is playing and looking at how some of these new pieces have assimilated and came in and got buckets. I think one thing about Cam Thomas that I absolutely think is wonderful is the fact that he can get buckets without jacking up a bunch of threes. I mean, he just finds the hoop. He has a nice little mid range, gets his layup. Cam Thomas just makes plays. He's a bucket getter at this point. You look at his stat line, He had 27 points tonight and 1 3. How many guards can drop 25 plus with 1 3? That just doesn't, and not a ton of free throws. We have like 6 free throws, but not a ton of free throws either. I mean, Cam Thomas is a bucket for us. He has been a revelation. I hope they unleash him. I know he only played around 20 minutes tonight. I do wonder what it's going to look like when he plays a bit more. I won't jump into this right now. I'll just tease it right now. I'll say there are people talking about looking him in the lineup. What does that look like if you put Cam Thomas in that starting lineup and move out AJ Green? Is it something that becomes enticing to folks? I mean, maybe not. But I will also say, well, what they're doing with Cam Thomas now is working. So if it ain't broke, maybe you don't have to try to fix it. And I do think that, if you did put him in the starting lineup, do you have too many chefs at that point with guys that can cook like KPJ, Ryan Raleigh? I don't know. Either way, we'll talk about that a little bit more a bit later. But I think tonight, Trey, I agree with you. The surprise to me was the battle they won the rebounding battle, despite the fact that you'll rebound, your guys were out. And I don't know if that's more of a fact that the Bucks just being scrappy or if it's just the Pelicans just were a bit lethargic. I'm really not sure, but this is what you have to you have to stack these. You got to win any way you can right now, especially until GA comes back. I thought Kevin Porter Jr., I mean, again, for all the hate he get, Kevin Porter Jr., finished tonight with 25 points. He was cooking in that fourth quarter, too.
He's a great player. He's a good player, man.
Kevin Porter had like 10, 11 points in that fourth quarter. He was cooking in that fourth, too. And he's another one. You just kind of see what he brings to the table. I mean, there's a lot, I think, to be excited about on this team, inspired about. You talked about Kuz and, the good and the bad with Kuz. I'll say this year's been a lot more good than bad with Kuz. Look, I mean, last point here, I don't know what the Pelicans were doing from the three-point line, but brother, oh my gosh, it was awful. That may be one of the worst three-point performances we have seen all year in the NBA. The final stat line was 4 for 25 from three, like 16%. Just awful. Absolutely abysmal. Again, I don't know if they just didn't stretch today before they came out or what. I don't know if they was eating po' boys at halftime or not, but, it was just a bad look for them. Let's take this win. Let's stack it with the next. And, man, I'm going to ask this question, and I don't want y'all to answer it, but later on in the show, for the chat warrior, for everybody in the chat, think about this. With this Bucks roster, where do you rank this team in the East? Because I'll tell you right now, the roster and with the new additions and everything else they have, and Giannis coming back, this Bucks team is much better than the 11th place team. We'll talk about it a little bit more in detail. But that's what I saw. Over to you, Chris King.
When you talk about the three-point line for the Pelicans, I mean, to me, they had Trey Murphy in the game last time, and he had 13 threes. And I think, without him in the lineup, there's certainly going to be a drop-off. Didn't know that it would be that bad. But, Trey, you're right. Shout out to Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, I saw him change up the looks. He threw some double teams out there on Zion. He did the 2-3 thing, and that actually paid dividends. So I got to give credit to Doc where it's due. And, not trying to get too creative with the starting lineup, right? It was Ryan Rollins comes back after KPJ explodes a couple of games and puts Ryan Rollins right back into the starting lineup. And they play well. Ryan Rollins played well. How luxurious is it to have these three guards that they go for 20 plus on the same night? Like when we had Cole Anthony in that position that Cam Thomas is in, you were lucky to get minutes. You were lucky to get him in the game. You were lucky to get him off the bench. So now Cam Thomas inserts himself, goes for 16 points in that first half, continues it all the way throughout the second half, goes for 27. And he scored in a multitude of ways. I thought he was really brilliant on offense. Like he was getting to the rim. He punched one. He dunked one tonight. So those three guards just really impact the game if they're all on. And it's so much of an upgrade over what we had in Cole Anthony. The last thing I saw really was, we talk about Oos and the big game he had the other night right before All-Star break. But honestly, guys, like him and Pete Nance, I think where you're really seeing the impact is just look how many times we have won the rebounding battle since both of those guys have been inserted into the lineup and playing key minutes. Like this Bucks team isn't as bad at rebounding, and that was one thing the Bucks needed to fix. Regardless whether Giannis is in or whether Giannis is out. So they win the rebounding battle. Shout out to Bobby. I think realistically it's Pete Nance, it's Ousmane Dieng that are affecting they're just getting extra bodies on other teams to get those rebounds. So I really like it. I like what I'm seeing, and I like the momentum that we're building, especially after a long break.
Back off the All-Star break. Feels good to be back. And we still got technical difficulties with Doc Rivers' audio, so it's all good. We'll go to what Cam Thomas talked about. Talked about everyone welcomed him into the team, and they told him to continue to shoot the ball and just hoop. Don't be so tentative like he was in the first game as far as looking for your shot. I think the team has instilled a new level of confidence in Cam, and I love what I'm seeing. And he's talking about the vibes are good with this team. And it always helps when the team is winning, but they're playing good basketball, which I see that as well. Everyone talked about the backcourt, but I can't remember ever that two different Milwaukee Bucks had 10-plus point quarters in Cam Thomas and KPJ in that fourth quarter. I thought I agree with the zone work tonight. Now, the test is going to be going in the future because we played a couple teams heading into the break and then after the break that don't shoot the three-point well. So what are we going to do once we get off of that? But I think we have Oos and I think we have Pete Nance, which gives us a little bit of more flexibility on his defensive end. Because I know one thing, Pete Nance may have not brought the physicality, but I definitely saw the brother moving his feet and playing good defense to the level of what he can do. And I mean, he's a guy that can move his feet a lot better. I think Sims is getting a lot more comfortable, though. Now, the thing about Sims he has to do is he has to keep the fouls down, absolutely. But covering Zion is just tough, man. That guy's he's a hippo down there, pushing guys around, controlling the paint, running the he runs the floor when he's on the team. It's we talked about it before we came on, and maybe some conditioning things and stuff like that. Sadiq Bey, I thought he was pretty good, but our guys are just better. And the thing about this Milwaukee Bucks team, it is so great to have depth. Shout out to John Horst. You don't know where it's coming from. It can be Cam in the second. It could be KPJ in the fourth. It could be a little bit of that JT foreshadowing I learned from him. AJ Green one night. It could be Giannis the next night. It could be Oos the next night. We just have a plethora of guys where we can get buckets from, and it's going to be tough to stop this team. I'm really excited to see where you gentlemen rank this roster because I'm really excited to be a Bucks fan again tonight, and it's great to come on here. We're winning, but even the ball movement and everything, like Cam said, it just seems to be better. And hey, sky's the limit. I can't wait to Sunday against Toronto. That'd be a good test.
It will be. It will be. I was just looking at the schedule, and you do have Toronto on Sunday. That'll be a different look. You're not playing the Pelicans. I think Toronto's to me a little bit better than Orlando. They provide some different challenge. They provide different challenges because of the bigger wings. To me, that's a Ousmane Dieng game. That's a game where remember we saw Brandon Ingram being able to rise up over an AJ Green and Scotty Barnes and those guys. They're just a little bit bigger on the wings. And is that a night where it's much more Kuz, Dieng, those type players versus the AJ Green thing. Interesting again. There's another great point you mentioned, Justin, when you talk about the plethora of guys, and you look at this guard group the Bucks have in Cam Thomas and KPJ and Rollins, and then I mean again, at some point it's not a fluke when Dieng gets in the game. He keeps doing the thing. I love AJ Green does it. Pat Conti's do a lot. The overhead three, where you don't bring it down, you get the ball. How many times he get the ball over his head and doesn't bring it down? Fire up a three. Like at some point, like what Tyler Perry say? Somebody shows you who they are, believe them. It's only been a few games, but I'm starting to believe in the offensive prowess of Ousmane Dieng. Now I know he didn't play a lot tonight, and you know there are gonna be some question marks. I think there's a lot of question marks from Doc Rivers where you try to figure out, especially when Giannis comes back, because that's a guy that's playing that 4 spot. You know, is when you have Giannis, when you have Kuzma backing him up, where does Ousmane is Ousmane really just gonna? I guess he's gonna play 3, but it's gonna be interesting to see kind of how Doc Rivers does and allocates the minutes. But you're just right, Justin. You have guys in different spots that can score the basketball and go off, and we're just not in a position where, like you said, Chris, where you're relying on Cole Anthony, where you're relying on Gary Trent, and even one more. You're not remember for the entire season on the bench. We were basically Bobby Portis was the bench. Bobby Portis was the bench offense. So if he didn't have it going, you didn't have anything coming off the bench. And now you have a few guys that you can that you can rotate in and that can play. It is interesting. You know, I'll let you go back around the horn. Then I do want to get into some questions about like the question about Cam Thomas. I want to save the where to the Bucks roster, but questions about Cam Thomas, like how, and I saw some in the chat saying, when are you guys gonna get on AJ Green? You know, should Cam Thomas? Here's my only thing on that on the starting lineup of AJ Green, KPJ, and Rollins. Again, remember that in that first half, once those boys started rolling downhill, there was nothing you could do to stop it. And there were a few rebounds that took place just because it is just a little too, like, I fear you play Toronto and you run that lineup out there defensively, you can get cooked. Rebounds, second chance buckets, you can get cooked a little bit just because it's small. And I get it. Maybe you want to play your quote unquote best lineups. But it does get a little small, and there are some issues there. John Hassel Prophecy Super Chat says Bobby should lose minutes to Nance and Sims. Green should lose minutes to Jang. When healthy, Giannis is going to have to stop being a one-man offense. Don't say that if Eliza Jane is in here, because she'll call you a Giannis hater. But I think that's a good point. But he says the other thing. He says Green should lose minutes to Jang. And this is the point I was bringing up before we started this, JT, is if you're to believe, and again, it just depends on what you believe. Because tonight, what did he was 0 for 4, right? Green was 0 for 4.
Yep.
Again, but what I tell you, he was a team high plus 22. All of the advanced metrics, and this is to believe, are you watching basketball with your eyes? You watch it with the calculators and binoculars. All of the advanced metrics are going to tell you that the Bucks are a better team when AJ Green is on the floor versus off the court. And for the record, I do believe that Doc Rivers sees some of this, because despite some of the shooting sometimes, he keeps AJ on the floor. So there is some truth to, and again, it just depends on how far you want to go with it. But if you go down the metrics, you'll see them. The Bucks are so much better on, off, offense and defense when AJ Green is on versus when he's off. I've gotten arguments with these people all the time. I'm just telling you, that's what I'll play the devil's advocate. That's what smart Twitter is going to tell you. No. You cannot criticize AJ Green. He's that much good. He's that good even without scoring the basketball.
So here's the question. Here's the question I have about that, though, right? Like, when you talk about AJ Green and how the team is that much better, then you look at his actual impact on a micro level, and you look at what he does or does not do. I just think that there is you got to ask that question. I said it before, so causation versus correlation here, right? Is AJ Green the reason for this, or does that just happen to be the case while he's out there? What's going on with everybody? You really have to ask that question, because you watch the game, and that impact is muted at best. And I'm not trying to take anything away from AJ Green. I'm just saying, if you watch the game, I don't see. Again, I'm not watching film every night. I'm watching the TV broadcast, right? I'm not watching a different view or film here. So maybe he's doing some great things that we just don't see, and it doesn't pick up on TV. But I think the issue that you have to, or the question I think you kind of have to ask, though, is, okay, wait a minute. What is it that AJ Green is doing that makes this team much better? How is he directly impacting overall team performance here? Because from the naked eye, you'd be hard pressed to say, hey, AJ Green's cooking out there. AJ Green, he's not one of those. He's not doing that. I mean, some assists here and there. And again, from a defensive perspective, I mean, he can play something, but it ain't. This isn't groundbreaking. He's not. You've talked about, if you put Cam Thomas out there, okay, now you have all these small guards, they get cooked. All right, well, I mean, is there that much of a difference with AJ Green out there? Like, I don't know. Like I said, and again, this isn't an attempt to bash AJ Green, but I'll say the argument to me against putting Cam Thomas in that starting lineup could also be, well, look at what KPJ did last year. You had KPJ coming off the bench and being a very highly efficient scorer. You had a guy took 20 minutes, Cam Thomas tonight, 21 minutes, 27, right? So maybe you don't have to force that yet. But I do think that if Cam Thomas keeps playing like this, Doc, you at least have to experiment. You owe it to yourself to experiment. What does this lineup look like? Can we start to, find your matchup if you want to do it, but what does this lineup look like with these three guys? And then, man, can you imagine these three guys and Giannis on the court at one point? just what does that look like? You got to flush that out. You have to at least experiment at this point. That's all I'm saying. But look, if you think Cam Thomas needs to stay on the bench, there's nothing wrong with that because he can produce and he's playing that incredibly well. Or if you think that Cam Thomas, KPJ, Ryan Rollins, that's a whole lot of playmakers out there too. What does that look like? Are there some issues? Does that get to be a bit lucky? I can see that concern, but again, you have to experiment with that, I think, at some point.
I would agree with that. I think you have to be willing to make that a position that's interchangeable. Look, you saw Darvin Ham start Usman Jang. Now, I know, obviously, AJ Green was still in the lineup there, I believe, but just you have to try to make that an interchangeable spot depending on matchups. Because, yes, if I wanted to, speak to AJ Green and what he can do and how he impacts the game without scoring, I could do that, right, with just his ability to be a threat out there and spacing, and that matters. And it will matter when Giannis comes back. And that will also add a different level of fold into this thing where it's like, okay, Giannis is going to be a big presence, so he could go on a guy like Brandon Ingram if that matchup comes about. But it has to be on Doc to be able to experiment with it. I do see the value in AJ Green even on an off night because, again, like I said, the spacing. But 30 minutes might have been a little excessive when you got other guys cooking, when you got other guys that are playing well off of the bench. But again, what Justin says all the time, it's not about who starts. It's about who finishes. So around the margins, that's where Doc really has to lock in to me. And, when AJ Green's great like he was against the Thunder, I mean, there's not really too many complaints. I feel like it's just the defensive aspect that gets a little shaky.
Let me ask y'all another question really fast too, right? This is something I'm thinking about when you think about this young talent and you think about the plethora, right, of talent, the surplus of this young talent. At what point do minutes become an issue when GA comes back and when Miles Turner comes back? At what point do minutes become an issue where it becomes like you only got but so many and you're trying to divvy these things up, right? Because I think at that point, you can't run AJ Green 30 minutes, right? You're not going to be – you're going to have to make some different adjustments to get everybody a chance to get out there and make plays. But what point do you think minutes become a real issue here? And, folks are – it's a minute diet. If you out there and you're not doing nothing, then minutes has cut that game. Like I asked that question because you have a lot of really, really talented guys that can make plays and make an impact on this team at this point. And obviously the layups are Gary Trent. Like, okay, he ain't gonna see the court, right? Like, so I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think minutes ever become an issue with this team because you got to think a lot of these guys like Oos came in, he's playing 10 times the minutes he was playing in OKC here now, even on a 15-minute night. You got a guy like Cam Thomas who was relegated to the bench. I don't understand how in Brooklyn, but then there's that. Then there's Pete Nance who could barely sniff the floor here in Milwaukee and stuff like that. So I think you got to put winning first. As far as with AJ Green, though, I agree with Chris, man. Like the stuff that he gives you against OKC, and the thing about him just being a pure shooter, he's going to have off nights. And he's going to have another off night in this season, and he'll have one in the playoffs as well. But the beautiful thing that we have now is if he has an off night, the minutes can be manipulated and you can have someone else come in and step up. However, keep in mind, though, too, we're missing two people off of injury right now that are pretty big cogs in this team. So I think all that'll kind of balance it out. I think one guy's minutes that once he's fully healthy that will not be cut is obviously Giannis's. The other thing that I wanted to mention about these stagnant of these minutes now, the great thing about Giannis is you don't have to come in and 100% carry this team. There's other guys that can play with you now, and hopefully that protects his calf strain, Kyle Kuzma's calf strain, and also Miles Turner's calf strain so he can be healthy and keep these Achilles intact and see where we rank in his Eastern Conference lineups.
Well, and the only way that's
– go ahead. Hey, listen. That athletic trainer, the strength and conditioning that seat need to be getting a little bit of warm. All these boys got calf injuries. I'm telling you right now, hey, wait a minute. I got to ask that question. These calf injuries. Hey, that seat, you're going to have to get called down to the principal's office. You got at least an interview. What's going on here? All these guys are getting calf injuries. That is not it. And that's not something you want to play with because usually when you get the calf strain, what's everybody scared of when you start getting calf strain?
Achilles.
Right. But yeah, you got three guys having calf strain. Wait a minute, what's going on?
Well, that seems to be an issue around I don't know. It seems to be an issue around the league with these calf issues. And I think the other thing I think though is different is guys used to have calf issues just play, and now when you have any kind of a calf issue that comes up, you automatically sitting. So I think it's just more prevalent now that you don't get to play through calf issues like you used to. So you are seeing, but you're seeing that all over the league. But to answer your question, when you talk about minutes getting cut. I think somebody in the chat said it's a good thing. To me, it's a good thing because it wasn't long ago. I was trying to find guys that could give me minutes. I'm trying to find who can Gary give me forget Gary Trent. We had Gary Harris out there running around doing, and remember the whole thing of him was, well, if he can just run around and not be terrible. That's a positive. Like if he could just do cardio and run up and down the court, not turn the ball over, and not get cooked immediately defensively. Woo, that's better than some of the things we've been seeing. So this is a massive step in the opposite direction on that point. But yeah, when you talk about minutes getting sliced, I'm telling you, the guy who's going to lose minutes is, and just don't want to hear this, it's going to be Bobby Portis. Bobby's going to lose minutes because you've got to be able to defend. You got to be able to defend. When Giannis comes back and you got Miles Turner, if you can't defend, those minutes will be cut. Because here's the other thing. Because before, I needed Bobby Portis for offense because I didn't have any offense at the bench. Now I got options, dog. I got options. I can score. I don't need you to get 10 points and then give up 20. So I think he's a candidate for minutes to be cut. Again, going back, and Chris, you mentioned it, talk about AJ Green, what he does. You said you're looking for it, JT. I think it's spacing. I think when you look at how he can space the floor, because when he's a dead eye from three, whether he's making them or not, you got to respect it. So if my guy, we talk about this all the time, if a defender has to take 2 extra steps out to AJ Green because he's 2 feet past the 3-point line, that's just a bigger driving lane for Giannis. So it's not like anything crazy, but it's those margins. And right now it's a bigger driving lane for KPJ, or it's a little more space for Cam Thomas to operate, or it's a Kuzma cut because I got some room back there. Those are the little things. Now his issue though is he's a 2, and when you're masquerading him around as a 3 with those bigger wing guys, that's when you can get into. I think you get into some real problems. But again, he does the other thing about him is he's always in the right spot. I don't have to worry about. I don't worry about, like, Kuz makes mental mistakes. Bobby Portis, mental mistakes. Trying to think of other guys. Jericho Sims will make mental mistakes. I don't really worry about AJ Green making those type of mental errors where you miss the rotation or you're not where you're supposed to be. Or in offense, same thing offensively. He's usually, because he's spacing, he's usually in the right spots. He's not clogging the lane. He's not. So he does all those little things well. It's just at the end of the day, you got to be hitting the shots. And that's when he's dangerous is when he's knocking those shots down. But to answer the other questions on the chat, I don't think you can start. I don't think you can start Cam Thomas. I don't think you can start. Or you were asking too, JT. I don't think you can start Cam Thomas, KPJ, and Rollins. I just don't think it works. I don't see how, from a defensive perspective. I think you're clearly outmanned. Whoever's playing that 3, and it probably be KPJ. He'd be outmanned because he's too small. And then offensively, it's one of these. I feel like it's just too many chefs in the kitchen. You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember that Phoenix team that had Eric Bledsoe, Goran Dragic, and Isaiah Thomas? And they started 3 guards, and it was because Goran Dragic was a bucket. I mean, Eric Bledsoe was defensive to IT. You know he could do, and it was cool. It was a 3-headed monster, but it never fully really worked with what they were trying to do, and there was always an odd man out. And that's what I feel like what happened. And and the last I said, it is interesting, like this dynamic between those three guys, because Rollins is a better shooter, just a pure from a 3-point. He's a better step back, just 3-point shooter. Cam Thomas is just a bucket where he can score 3 levels and tough shot express. But again, he's getting off the rim. He ain't passing the ball. So he's not really playmaker. He gets buckets for himself. He's not playmaking for anybody else. And to me, KPJ is probably the best all around. He's the best creator for everybody. So they are all different in their own different ways. But it's interesting to see, how those minutes line up too, and how they work. But I think Cam Thomas, I would keep him off the bench because you've had issues with bench scoring, and I think he's found that role. He does it very well. And if he's hot, he closes and all types of stuff. If he's not, you find somebody else. But he was hot tonight, and it looked good for the Bucks. All right, so let's get to the let's get to JT's question. The other question he had: Where do you guys rank the roster in the East? I look at some stuff here also in the chat. Just see, he says I might have to start questioning medical staff with the calf issues. King says that's because guys don't work on their legs. MW Ballers TV says it's like how Brook Lopez was a defensive threat anytime he was. Agreed. Yes. And to your point, we talk trash about Miles Turner, but you do see the difference when Miles Turner's not in the game. Like we talk, and I'm one of the main culprits. I talk about him, but there is a difference. Him in the paint versus whatever the hell we were trying to do defensively in the paint tonight. So there was definitely a big difference with his interior presence. But let's go around the horn. Where do you got and in the chat as well? Where are you ranking this Milwaukee Bucks team? Fully healthy, Giannis back in the lineup with Miles Turner. Where do they rank in the East? We know that they are 11th. They are let's see, I believe after the losses tonight from Atlanta and Charlotte. Yeah, so the Bucks are a half game out of 10th. They're a full game out of 9th. They're 5 games out of 7th. I mean, they could really get to the 6th seed. I mean, Philly's lost their last 3. The Bucks are 5.5 games out of 6. So I mean, that's if you're winning at a good pace, you're still within range there. But they right now currently sit 11th in the Eastern Conference, behind Charlotte, Atlanta, Miami, and Orlando for that play-in spot. Where do you see them actually ranking? And for the record, right now the rank is Detroit is 41-13, Boston's 36-19, Cleveland's 36-21. The Knicks are 35-21. Toronto's 33-23, and Philly is 30-25. That rounds out your top 6. Again, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, 7 through 10. But where do you actually see this basketball team who have been winners of 6 of their last 7?
All right. So because you asked this question, where do we rank this Bucks roster? Right. So notwithstanding the record, where do we rank this Bucks roster? Here's the question I got for y'all before we dig in. Does roster include coach, or are we talking about the men, just the fellas playing in the game?
No, I think you got to include everything about what you know, because the coach ain't changing.
Okay.
So it's got to be everything about this Bucks team, coach included.
Okay. Look, I'll say this. I think the conversation can't even start. Granted, I don't have them this low. I have them much higher than this. The conversation can't even start until 5th. Right, the way I see it from looking at the roster, you can't even start the conversation until you look at 5th. Now, I do think that they're a little bit higher than that, but I think that's where the conversation likely starts when you look at this Bucks roster now and you throw Giannis and Turner in the mix when they're coming back from injury.
Yeah, I think to me the records certainly get a little confusing because you've got Charlotte who's playing hot and they've just acquired Kobe White, and they got Con Knipple who's been amazing for them, and guys have been really stepping up. But I think they're better than the Heat. I think they're better than the Hawks. I think they're better than the Magic. 76ers is a bit of a toss-up. It just depends on health. I think they have a deeper roster than the Raptors. And I would honestly say I think you could have some conversations about Cleveland and Boston, realistically. So I would probably
For the record, Cleveland has won since they have not lost since they got James Harden.
Right. But still, top to bottom, I mean, I'm taking Giannis as the best player, and around the margins, if our guards are playing like that, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be scared. I think realistically, the Bucks have probably a top 7 roster in the East right now.
So you're saying that you would put the Bucks at 7th in the East, behind the 6 teams that are Detroit, Boston, Cleveland.
I could take out the Raptors for the Hornets. I think I could do that.
You put the Hornets in front of the Raptors?
Yeah, 100%. I don't like their front court does not move me.
For me, it's tough. I need to look at who I think that even with a healthy Giannis, it's going to be tough for me to say that we're not better than. So I don't think with the fully healthy Giannis, with the time that we factor in everything, right? Detroit might be a notch or two above us, but however, playoff basketball is a lot different than regular season basketball. Boston is so well coached. I might have to put them ahead as well. And then for me, everything else, if you're talking about a healthy Giannis, top 2, top 3, number 1 in the NBA, it's hard for me to put a lot of. I mean, Cleveland, I don't think they've had enough time to see what their true potential is with James Harden. So they could be about there as well. But I think we're a top 5, 4 maybe roster in the East with a fully healthy Giannis, with this depth on this team, with this bench playing the way that they play. And I mean, I think if Giannis comes back and I'm not saying if he buys in, but if the system kind of gels around him and it gels with everyone else and the bench picks up, we could at some point at the end of the year be talking about this is the best roster in the NBA. I can tell you I may not be for sure about this, but them Detroit Pistons don't want to play this Bucks team healthy in the first round, and neither do them Boston Celtics. You got the wild card you have is Giannis is by far better than anybody on any of their rosters, and you know he could go absolutely nuclear like he did the year when Chris Middleton was out and he scored 44, but Tatum scored 46. By the way, the Boston Celtics don't have that Jason Tatum to do that. A lot of those teams you're looking at the top don't have enough punch to deal with Giannis.
I think Jason Tatum's going to be back. Ooh, damn.
Is he? You think he's coming back?
Yeah. I don't think there's any question that he's gonna give it a go.
He'll be back, but will he be 46-point capable Jason Tatum?
That's a good question.
That's a good point. And you come back you come back too fast, there's a risk to turn that thing again. That's another thing. I mean, so there's an argument. There's an argument that we have a better roster than Detroit. I could see the argument in there. But then you factor in coaching, you factor in all right. And then it's like, all right, well, then maybe, okay, right? Because Trey was very clear about that. That includes coaching as well. I think we have a better roster than the Raptors in 5th place. I do. I think from top to bottom, I think we are. The Raptors are a good team, but I think we are better. We have not played better, but as the overly optimistic Bucks fan at this point, I'll say we have a new roster, right? We got a new roster. Coming out of the trade deadline here with some of the new pieces in here and some of these other guys, I'm going to call it maybe not a new roster, but we have a substantially improved roster. I want to say that. I think you have to look at the record of this team with the updated roster. Having said that, so Detroit, Boston. I mean, it is what I can't put us in front of Boston right now. I can't put us in front of Detroit. I think Cleveland's got questions. Yes, they've not lost since Harden got there, but I think Cleveland, you still do have some questions. And some of it, to me, is a bit biased. Like, listen, you've had most of these guys last year, and he ain't done nothing. Like, I mean, really, we've seen it. We've seen Cleveland go crazy in the regular season, and they just haven't done nothing with these guys. You know, I mean, yes, James Harden is a new name in the building, and it was Darius Garland before. But, I mean, since when has James Harden elevated a team? Like, let's just be honest here. Right? Like, since when has James Harden been the guy that gets them to the next level? I think, if anything, James Harden has been one of the catalysts for disappointment just about everywhere he's been out of OKC, with exception for OKC. So I think I'm gonna go. I think 4th is probably realistically where we're at. And I see the Knicks there at 4, but if I go 4th, I'm not sure which team I'm kicking out, but I think 4th is probably a decent spot for this Bucks. Looking at the way they're playing now, with Giannis coming back, especially assuming he'll be MVP caliber when he comes back. Not too long of a pitch count. Miles Turner figures this thing out. I'll go 4th.
Yeah, I think we're close to track, and I mean, I just go off. I mean, what I've said again. I want to see what this Bucks team looks like over the next 28 games or so. But I just looking at based on what I saw throughout the year, I can't put them over Detroit. I can't put them over Boston. I can't put them over Cleveland. And so I think New York is a question. But again, I think when New York is, you talk about roster. When New York is rolling, and again, now if Karl-Anthony Towns is if he's close, because he can close the door with his hips too. If Karl-Anthony Towns is closing the fridge with his hips, and Jalen Brunson's getting cooked defensively, and they're not
finger up Jalen Brunson's butt,
right? Yeah, if you have
actually,
those
in-season tournament with that, never mind. I mean, that might be a good luck charm.
Wait, what?
What
is happening?
You see that, JT? You probably sent it in the group.
Yeah, you probably did send it.
I totally forgot.
But yeah, if they're playing at the highest of their levels, then I'd have a hard time putting the Bucks over the Knicks. So yeah, I think 5 is where you're at. And again, Philly's an interesting case point too. I think that again, health is always their issue. But yeah, I think the Bucks are clearly better than all these playing teams. And again, that's not to say that the Bucks couldn't beat a Pistons team in a series, or a Boston team in a series, or a Cleveland team, or a New York Knicks team in a series. I'm not saying that at all. But again, these next, when the Bucks have to go, like this Toronto game is going to be important. When Giannis back in the lineup, it's going to be important. And I want to see it again. Make no mistake about it. They've dug a hole. They're 24-30. They're going to have to play some really, really good basketball down. I mean, so we're gonna know, like all it's put up or shut up time. We're gonna know very quickly what we feel about this roster, because at this point you're under 30 games. Like it ain't you're not 10 and 11 and we're gonna get to 500 by game 40. Like no, you already passed game 40. Ain't no 500 by then. So there's 28 games left. I believe it's 28 games left. We're gonna know it's go time. We will know very soon everything we need to know about this basketball team.
And wasn't the Heat a few years ago? Didn't they make it to the championship out of the play-in, out of like the 8th seed too?
Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
I don't want to bring it up, right? Because again, that's another notch toward Heat culture, whatever. No cookie Heat culture, right? Remember Pat Riley took away LeBron's cookies and he was in his feelings over it. But I say all to say that anything is possible. We'll have to see. We got to keep taking one game. But I'll say this: anybody who's watched basketball this year, and you don't got to be a basketball expert, you can see a noticeable difference in this Bucks team over these last 6 games. It is not. Look, it's noticeable like a thong at the water park, right? Like you just 100% can see the difference in this Bucks team in the last 6 games, and I think that's they can see it, they can feel it too. What y'all laughing about this? Listen, man. All right, so if you go to the water park, you got kids and everything else there, and a woman's walking around in a little thong bikini. Everybody kind of like looking. All the dads is like they trying to act like they not looking. But everybody else is like, yo, this woman got her cheeks out for real. It's kids here, the water slide. Come on, man. We acting like that's not the case. So y'all got
how many kids she got, JT? Too soon?
Listen, man. I ain't paying attention to the kids. I'm looking at the skins, brother. I'm looking at the ham hocks walking around. That's what I'm looking at, brother. But like seriously. You know what I'm talking about. You go to the water park, you see that. And look,
Jay Roby said double cheeked up at Noah's Ark.
But by the way, though, when it happens, though, seriously, the next time, just observe this. Next time you're at the pool with your lady and the kids there, just watch kids there. You see a woman with a thong swimsuit and watch how everybody act. The women looking at her, judging her. The men acting like they don't see her. All my guys with dark shades on are real still, so can't nobody tell they looking because they looking, but they're not trying to turn their heads. Come on now. This thing is Friday night.
Hey, with this last 30 games, the beautiful thing about it is we got 2 with the Miami Heat. I can't even focus. And 2 with the Atlanta Hawks coming up too. So we could separate ourselves from them if we go out and we play good basketball with it, man. The reason why I say we could be the number 1 team, the best roster in the East, not saying we're there, not saying we're close to there. JT, I'm so out of focus right now. I keep thinking about Noah's Ark and double ham Hawks. But the reason why I say we could be there is because of like what JT just mentioned over this last 6 or 7 games, and then you add in the best player in the Eastern Conference, if you don't want to say he's the best player in the entire NBA, and I think that it can go up from there. And also, I think one thing that we're failing to mention is that Miles in these last 10 15 games had started to find himself a little bit more than in the beginning of the season. And he started playing better. And unfortunately, he's slowed down by one of those calves. But I think it's a good time right now. And we very well could get beat in the first round of the play-in game. That's the bipolar of this basketball team. But the one reason will I give you over the Detroit Pistons, though, like you kind of mentioned, JT, is Bickerstaff is just – I think he's the best coach in the Eastern Conference. Arguably might be current day right now, could be an argument for best coach in the NBA, period, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a question. I mean, yeah, I think you look at the East best. It's probably there, or you looking in Boston at Missoula.
Yeah.
And kind of the program that he runs. Daniel Swan 3841 says, how many minutes is Miles going to get if everyone's healthy? Over under 22.5. I think that Doc definitely is matchup dependent with Miles Turner, and I would say probably the over. But yeah, he's gonna have to play really. He's just gonna have to play well at the end of the day. And then the Silver Foxes, Jang only played 8 minutes in the first half. And you know, I saw a lot of people have gotten on Doc about the minutes for Jang. Listen, I'll say this. This is, and again, Jang's playing well. I think what Bucks fans get is they get so happy about a player, and it's automatic. Like they do it in the opposite with other. Kuzma, worst player in the world, he sucks. Oh my God, worst player, he sucks. Doc Rivers, worst coach in the world. Oh my God, worst coach in the world, he sucks. Ryan Rollins, he's gonna be a superstar. Love him. Cam Thomas, I don't want anything to do with Cam Thomas. He's gonna be a ball hog, and why is he here? And then this kid, Jang, comes in, and it's Jang, best player in the world. He needs to be playing 30 minutes a night. Like, this isn't a developmental program. This isn't again, take the Milwaukee Bucks right now, whether you agree with it or not, they're trying to win a championship. Like they are attempting to, and whether it's outlandish, whether it doesn't make it, they are trying to go, just like you said, JT, they're trying to pull a Miami from the 8th seed and run this thing all the way through. They are gunning for it. Like I said, they got to end, and they didn't go pick a developmental guy. They went and got Cam Thomas is who they went and got to go make a push, a player who clearly can help you score. So and win. So what I'm saying is they're not just going to throw. I think a lot of people, again, against this the development of a player. If the Bucks were tanking, then, and I'm not saying Jang is taking play, but I'm just, like, yeah, you let Jang play 30 minutes and just roll whatever happens because you want him to get as much experience as possible. That's not what Doc Rivers is going to do. Again, are there spots where Jang might play 25 minutes and 30? Sure. There might be spots where you start him. Sure. But he's going to have to really prove that that's what he is before you just let him loose and say, we're going to live whatever he does, 30 minutes a night. We're going to start. I'm just telling you, like, if that's what you're expecting, I think you're going to be very disappointed with how it works, because that they're not going to do that. And again, that's another guy That is, I don't know. I feel like we underwater in the Titanic, but that's another guy that's another guy that's gonna lose minutes. You talk about losing minutes. That's gonna be another guy that probably loses some minutes, but even tonight he plays 23 minutes. I honestly, I think that's about right. I think that's probably where he should be. Somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes a night is probably where he should be.
There's only so many minutes in a basketball game, though. So, unfortunately, there's 48. There's 5 guys that'll play it. And this is where, if Doc's going to go down as one of the best coaches in the history of the game, which I think top 6 currently in wins, you're somewhere in there from your past, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to show the world here. You got to figure out a way to manipulate these lineups to get an impact from every one of those guys that's on that floor, whether it's the Nassas coaching the guys up and cheerleading his behind off on the end of the bench, to whether it's Oos, to whether it's KPJ. And when a guy doesn't have it, I don't know if we got time to sit there and let you kind of flounder around, because we're trying to get out this play-in tournament, trying to get into the play-in tournament and then get out of it and make a playoff run. So find your rotations, do it well. I did have one quick question for y'all. Do y'all feel like at that trade deadline that Boston got way better with the addition of Vujicic now, or it kind of stagnant the same with it? Because I feel like getting rid of Simons, he's the guy that killed the Bucks last time we played them, and just want to know what y'all thought about that, because we really never got a chance to talk about that.
I think it only works. I mean, to me, Boston's gonna be as good as again. I think they're a good team, well coached team. If Jason Tatum is coming back, and what he looks like when he comes back, they could be a potential go on a run. If Jason Tatum is the Jason Tatum we know, they could be on a big time run. I did want to mention this too, though. Apparently there was some people on Twitter getting the Doc audio or Doc talk. Cam Thomas is on a minutes restriction from a hamstring injury that happened in Brooklyn. So that's why, if you're wondering why he's only playing 21 minutes or whatever the minutes was for him, he's on a minutes restriction as well. Just want to point that out.
Put a gift in the chat for y'all.
I think the thing with Vooch is just that he's also got to fill that Al Horford role too. Like, he's got to be knocking down threes. You know, that's a team that likes to move the ball, that likes to shoot a ton of threes. If he is, you know, I don't know his career average, but I imagine he was around 30, low 30s. If he can get that up, and if he can do better with that spacing, then maybe you have a real player there. But yeah, I agree. I think it comes from Jason Tatum. If he can play, that would be miraculous, by the way, coming back from that and then getting to the level he needs to be at for them to contend. But also, Jaylen Brown is no slouch. That's a Finals MVP. That's a
Finals MVP.
That's a guy who can dictate where they go. So, you know, I think it's just the stars have to show up, and they've got to do it in a big way for Boston to be successful.
All right. Anything else before we go to Twitter and start to kind of wrap a little bit here as this thing continues? Bucks get a big time win. Winners of 3 in a row and 6 of their last 7.
HBCU night in New Orleans is pretty cool. I don't know if y'all got to see a lot of that on the thing, man. You know, I did. You know, they had your dad's frat sitting out there in the crowd, but they put us on at the halftime show. Just, you know, make sure you know that, though. All right, then. That's all I got.
There you go. The Divine Nine Petty Energy. There we go.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, I did think it was. I thought it was good. The Divine Nine night. It was cool. Yeah, Cap was was smooth on the halftime. Yeah, it was a good night. And New Orleans always has, to me, some of the best in-game entertainment in the league. The crowd's always hype. It's a fun atmosphere when they're going. All right, let's see what Twitter had to say. At Sunk345 says Ousmane Dieng should not only be playing 15 minutes. Come on, Doc. At Wisconsin HFC says easy in the end tonight. Give Pete Nance a regular contract. KPJ, Rollins, Cam look very good. Big game on Sunday. We'll get to see if we've actually turned a corner or if we've just been beating on bad /understrength teams. feeling bullish right now. At Drew Barron says Hornets and Hawks lose, Bucks win by 20. He's happy about that. At Andy Waba says no more Garys. Jang should start over Green. Last 6 wins, the team poise has gotten better and better. Keep it going until Giannis returns. At Ryan99 says here come the Bucks. And at Steely Dan Sucks says, I mean, at this point, you gotta ride Cam. Hey, yo. And Jang off the bench. And GTJ ain't seeing the court again this year. If we ain't tanking, let's get banking and win these damn games. That's what we got from Twitter. And then let's go to game balls. Again, I think you go a lot of different directions on game balls and not be wrong tonight. So where you go on game ball, 139-118 win over the New Orleans Pelicans?
To me, it's got to be Cam Thomas. I mean, didn't have the best night against OKC the day we send ourselves off to All-Star break, but going for 16 in the first half and then also continuing that momentum on a minutes restriction and scoring in a multiple magnitude of ways outside of just the three-point shot. And it didn't really feel like he was chucking or I mean, honestly, if you're hot, you don't need to be worried about that because that works for me. I'm gonna go with Cam Thomas. I just feel like he produces a real impact on this team and just the potential of being on a winner, like, and already making an impact. And you've got guys that can, even on an off night from Cam Thomas, can will you to victory as well. Did it against OKC with Oos, and you don't even have Giannis. I think he's found a really good fit here in Milwaukee. So I go Cam, a.k.a. Damn Cam, a.k.a. Cam I am. There you go.
Cam Thomas went to LSU. Did y'all know that?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know that Cam Thomas went to LSU? So it's kind of like a homecoming game for him.
He did.
Will Wade, first time around, I think.
I'm kind of torn, man. Chris got one of the guards taken care of. Love it. I'm torn between Rollins and KPJ, but I'm going to go with Rollins, 7 3-pointers in the basketball game, his new career high. Thought he made a lot of the great plays. Carried the team when the team needed to be carried at certain times, and 6 assists is just good. Couple rebounds in there. The blocks is what really sealed it for me, though, when I was debating between the two. Those 2 blocks, that's the benefit of having, 6'7", 6'8" wingspan from a guard. But the fact that he'll go down there and he'll challenge that shot is amazing to me. And you saw him, a couple shots he challenged tonight, they kind of got the better half of him, and that's okay, though. But I'm going to go with Double R, a.k.a. the new meaning for Double R, a.k.a. I could carry this team, a.k.a. I don't care what Trey says, I'm going to be a star.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Cam. I'm gonna give it to Cam. Like, Chris, I was thinking maybe KPJ, but I'm gonna give it to Cam Thomas because he certainly deserved it. He deserved a bunch of these since he's been here already. But yeah, Cam Thomas is my game ball tonight, especially he got 27 with 1 3-pointer. Oh yeah, that was classic score. I like that. The data and analytics crowd is sick. Even though he was, I think the only thing he missed tonight was the 3-pointers. I think that's the only thing he missed tonight. The only shot, maybe he missed one other shot from the field, but I think he's only misses tonight for 3-pointers. If I'm not mistaken, right? Because he was like 10 for 7 or 11 for 17 and 1 for 6 from 3. Anyway, not important. Point though is Cam Thomas gets my game ball tonight. AKA, I don't know if he went to class, but I know he went to practice. Right? Let's just be honest, man. At LSU, yeah. Look, I don't know if he went to class, but I do know he went to practice. That's kind of what's important. AKA Mardi Gras week, he ain't shaking no ass. I'll tell you that. AKA, if you want me to play defense, you're going to have to pay for that. AKA, if you was playing for the Brooklyn Nets, you'd have torn you'd have had a hamstring injury too. I mean, let's keep this thing a buck. Man, all right, that's it.
All right, yeah, y'all took care of Rollins and Thomas, so I'll go KPJ then just to to round out the trio. 25, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 10 to 15 from the field. Only 1 turnover on the night. He was a plus 12. So KPJ's gonna get my game ball tonight, aka Scooter, aka Sakuda, aka call me KPJ, aka. Hey, I got the fresh hair. You see, I got a new twist in, aka where my nails at. See at the salon, aka. Don't forget about me, aka you try to take me out the lineup, I'm still balling, aka I closed the game, aka yeah, that's all I got.
Hey, hit the shoulder shimmy for him. Hit the shoulder shimmy that he was doing.
I got a question for y'all. It's Friday night. We have a little fly. I got a question for y'all because I noticed what you said about Cam about KPJ having a new dude tonight, fresh twist, whatever that is, right? So there's somebody in the world that does the best twist in the world, right? If there's somebody in the world that is,
I don't like where this is going already.
Best twist in the world, literally. They can, whatever design you want in your hair is perfect. You go, people pay from all over, right?
Answer's no. I already know where you're going to. I already know where you're going. My answer's no.
What did you say? Would you go to a dude to twist your hair? To braid your hair?
I knew that's where you were going.
I just, for me, for those of y'all who new to this thing, braiding hair is a real intimate thing, right? They're running your fingers all through the hair, this and this, and a lot of times you got to sit between the braider's legs. That's how you do the old school way. To do that.
Oh, you sitting between, hold. Yeah, in somebody's crib back when you were like 13, 14. You're not sitting in between legs as a grown man, are you? They do that like that? I don't think they do that like that at a real place.
I'm sure some.
No. Yeah, you do that. Yeah, when I was playing AAU trying to get my hair braided when I was 12. Yeah, I was sitting between one of my.
Hold on. Did you ever get your hair braided?
Yeah.
You had the robes?
Yeah, I was trying to be on my AI.
Did you have any hang time or was your shit?
Nah. My eyes was like this. I was in there, couldn't get. You had to pull my. I was trying. I needed a blowout kit.
Hold on. No, I'm talking about hang time in the back. Did you have any?
No, I ain't had no. No, my shit was right on the bed. Yeah, I was fresh.
What's my man's name? What was the Black Power Ranger's name who was rocking them braids?
Yeah, I only did it once, bro. I literally did it one time.
Zach had them braids. Boy, them braids was short.
Yeah. I only did it once. I was like 10 or 11 or however old. Yeah.
Justin, you all right, man?
I'm good, bro.
You all right? You are. That's the only thing about braids. Like, if you don't do it, you got to do it. If it ain't,
I don't think you
got enough,
there,
just leave it out. Leave it alone, right? Because nothing worse than seeing somebody with braids and stop halfway down the back of their head. You're just like, yo, the person who did this for you, like, why? Like, they just can't do it. That's like somebody in 2026 asking for a part down the middle. Barber's not gonna do it. They just not. Like, no, that's not the same thing you say no to. But I'm just curious about that. Would y'all let a dude braid your hair? Even if he was cool, he was cool.
I already answered. So anybody else I ain't got nothing else for this.
I'm gonna stick over here with the Ball brothers and stay in my lane, bro.
All right. All right. Let's look around the league. 77-65 right now. Lakers are up on ESPN over the Clippers. Nuggets are blowing out the Trailblazers tonight. Hornets lose to the Cavaliers 118-113. Wizards get a win over the Pacers. Big tanking issues going on over there. Both of those teams. Grizzlies beat the Jazz. Big tanking issues going on in Utah. The Heat beat the Hawks tonight. T-Wolves beat the Mavericks 122-111. And the Thunder continue their winning ways 105-86 over the Brooklyn Nets. Do want to talk to you guys about All-Star Weekend. Damian Lillard won the three-point contest. You had I don't know what the hell that the damn dunk contest turned into. So you think you can dance? Yeah, man, out there, I don't know what that was. Sitting around E40, just jerking the whole time. Hey, doing a basic windmill and start jerking, and I'm like, come on, man. So you had that, and then you had Friday night. You had Giannis, Shams. They had some interesting moments. And then of course you had the game on Sunday. which was pretty entertaining. Those at least 3 to 4 quarters. So it was a good. Definitely a lot. Now there was more defense played in that game than started the Bucks game, where they were letting the Pelicans just run up and down the floor and dunk. So I mean, they actually tried and played well, and I think the old heads in the last game just didn't have enough to keep up. But what were your thoughts overall All-Star weekend in the NBA?
To be real with y'all, like, it's just kind of sad because I remember as kids, you used to look forward to. I remember looking forward to the Pro Bowl as kids. I remember looking forward to the All-Star game as kids, and I used to watch every single thing. And for some reason, I don't know, but the players they're just too cool for it. And I think that it feels like the All-Star game is dying. I mean, this thing, I never thought I would be saying that, but it just kind of feels like, this is struggling. Like, this is not like that dunk contest. The dunk contest. The game, I was entertained a little bit by the format, by the way they did the All-Star game. I thought, how about Kawhi Leonard playing harder than we've seen him play?
Yeah, Kawhi was hooping.
But so I was entertained by the game, but All-Star weekend, you have just got, first off, and not to take anything away from these guys, but a lot of these guys in the dunk contest, it was like, and keep in mind, Mac McClung was dominating this thing for 3 straight years before that. The guy who was, and just, I think you lose the luster when you have players that not a lot of people know who they are, and that's the first issue with dunk contest. You some of these players. I mean, you're getting. I don't want to call them B-list players. That everybody is tough to be an NBA, but your stars aren't doing it. Your stars don't want to do it. Your stars have identified they're way too cool to do it. So that's the first issue. The second issue this year is the lack of creativity. Some of those dunks. What's my man's name? God, I'm forgetting his name. Who almost who hit his head on the ground like that? And everybody was like, "Oh,
Jace Richardson."
Yeah.
Hey, everybody saw that and was like, "Oh, okay, maybe this ain't a good idea." The way his head bounced off that ground like that, it's one of those things where it's really tough to see.
You just be funny, bro.
I'm just saying, bro. It's just tough to. It's tough to watch an event that was so. You remember the dunk contest was must-see TV. Like, literally, like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? You run to eat your dinner early, then oh man, I gotta watch the dunk contest, and you literally just watching, locked in. And for it to be what it is now is sad. Honestly, maybe you do a so. Bro, you good? Bro, you good?
Hey, he should be cracking me up. He said he ate his dinner early. Go ahead, bro. I'll just be laughing, bro.
We're saying as a kid, you eat your dinner early, so you like, you ain't gotta miss the dunk contest. Like, it was must see TV, at least for me, and it was that. And so to see it where it is now, I think it really is sad. Honestly, I'm about ready for maybe you throw it back to the 90s, do an all sport dunk contest. So let NFL guys get out there, MLB guys, track it, all right? Assemble your celebrity, or I mean, not really a celebrity dunk contest, but your all athlete dunk contest. Let them dudes get out there. I think we could definitely be entertained. You watching the center fielder out there throwing down a 360, like, oh damn, I know he can do it. I know he can do that, right? Like, you might, I think that may be a bit more entertaining, because they can't force the stars to do it, and they're just not gonna do it. I mean, I guess you could force the stars to do it if you check big enough, but yeah, I really do think that sad to see the dunk contest going by the wayside.
I'll do you one better. I didn't watch it until the All-Star game. There was nothing appealing to me about those guys in that dunk contest. The 3-point contest is just like whatever. Would I be better going out to dinner? Probably. And then I did flip on the All-Star game, and I will say I thought they played competitively in spurts. I thought they picked their moments well. I liked seeing Anthony Edwards light it up, Kawhi Leonard light it up. Gives me hope that, hey, maybe in 28, the Olympics, because that's what's been going on. I've been actually watching that a little more. It gives me hope Team USA, they could continue this thing. They can go win gold. And, Anthony Edwards was showing out. Kawhi Leonard, obviously from the area, so maybe he'll be in L.A. And you just that was my main takeaway. I thought they played hard sometimes, and that when they did, it was fun.
So I feel like NBC kind of butchered it by starting it at 5 o'clock Eastern time. And I understand that they have the Olympics and all that stuff, so they didn't want to bump heads with that. But if that's the case, just give it to Turner, let Charles Barkley and those guys keep it for 1 year. I thought the post-game, pre-game guys, they were bad and boring. Maybe I'm just a stickler for Ernie, Chuck, Shaq, and those guys, but I think they do a better job. I would have liked to see the three-point competition last, though. Dunk contest first, maybe. I thought the skills competition was pretty cool this year with the different shots and stuff like that. I forgot who won it, though, so maybe wasn't that cool.
Boys.
Oh, that's
Now
cool. And then
sorry.
No, you good. I don't think Johnson won the dunk contest. I think Bryant lost it. And JT, I just really wanted to know, you being Mr. Wildcat, which one of the two, once you got to the finals, were you rooting for?
Listen, man, hey, you know what? I knew this. I knew both were going to have a better week than Tony Clark. So, talking about Arizona Wildcats. I mean, I'm just saying, I knew that. By the way, I told y'all Tony Clark played basketball at Arizona. I bet y'all didn't know that.
He did.
Tony Clark and Kenny Lofton both played basketball at Arizona. And both are had long MLB careers. But
what else Kenny Lofton do at Arizona?
You said what?
What else he do at Arizona?
Track and field. He's a 3-sport star.
Oh, he plays Kappa Alpha Psi too, by the way. Keep going.
Did he really? Yeah. So Kenny Lofton was on a Final Four basketball team. He was point guard on a Final Four basketball. The thing about Kenny, if you ever watch his YouTube highlights, he was dunking like crazy. Kenny was nice. So Kenny Lofton was the only 3-sport star I know about at Arizona who played track. He did track, baseball, and basketball. Didn't even start baseball until his junior year. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's late, so my mind rambles. But I never thought I would watch the Winter Olympics because I just was like, yo, this is not something I resonate with. They really need to have track and field in the Winter Olympics. But brother, somebody put me on to the what's the joint? The solo bobsled or whatever, the joint.
The luge?
When the women were sliding down that the loop, whatever that's called. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a bobsled. Brother, I was watching that with no sound. I was on that thing just watching that with no sound. I said, man, listen, look at this right here. I never thought in my life I would be watching the women slide down this little joint with no sound. But the people that make them suits know what they're doing. I just didn't know. I had no idea that the Winter Olympic athletes was in the weight room like that. So
Winter Olympics does not. I have zero interest in the Winter Olympics. I haven't watched a second. Matter of fact, only thing I saw was a clip on Twitter of, I think somebody was cheating in what's the game, the blocks, the curling. Yeah, I saw somebody, they were cheating in that or something like that. But yeah, back to I thought, again, here's the thing. They just got to do a one-on-one contest. They got to do a one-on-one or 2-on-2. That's only, because again, you mentioned it. You got to have stars. It's all star weekend, not all Matt McClung, not all halfway G League. No, it's all star weekend. The stars got to be. And the other thing you talk about, and they always trying to push Giannis to different places. Without Giannis, All-Star Weekend is nobody goes like. Do you talk about remembering back? You talk about eating your dinner do you remember when during the dunk contest and during all the events, the stars who weren't there were lined up? I mean, it was Shaq with the famous one was Shaq with the recorder, Kobe. If you weren't participating on Saturday night, the top guys were all courtside watching what was going on. Giannis like the only guy. Giannis is the only star who is not participating, who is watching this stuff happen. Like he's the only person who cares about the NBA and the product and basketball. So again, it's just crazy. They try to push him out of his market and everything. And he's the only guy who gives a damn about your product. Because everybody else is doesn't care, don't want to be there. So yeah, I definitely want to see a one-on-one. And again, I think if you had a one-on-one contest and Giannis signed up and KD signed up and Steph signed up and Anthony Edwards, if I think stars will. I think if I'm Luka, I might want to see that. I might want to come front row to watch. So I might. Next year, LeBron his last year going to do the one-on-one contest. I might want to watch that. I think people would come. Kawhi versus Giannis in the semifinals of the one-on-one that's must-see TV. So I think they got incorporated and just hope the stars do it. Dunk contest, like I said, I think this thing. Put the dunk contest first, and see if there's some magic there one year. If not, you keep kicking with it. So here's what it is.
That's what I that's a really good point about the stars, though. The stars, I don't know, guys. It seems like it went from an honor to an inconvenience, and that's just kind of weird to look at it from that perspective. But it does kind of seem that's the general feel that you get with this game at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Says also
ladies do a good. Talk about watching random stuff. That ladies one-on-one competition is it's epic to watch, and I like you said. I mean, I couldn't imagine it with NBA guys. I definitely pull up for that, man.
Yeah, it would be good. Let's see. Did you guys see your boy Cam Newton? My guy Cam Newton has some comments. Has been making the rounds, talking about women's value. The quote that kept going around was women's value gets lower the more children that they have. And people took that and ran with it. And again, I won't be, all that I say is I just don't understand why we're playing mental gymnastics, because here's Cam's issue. It's not what you say. It's sometimes who says it, and sometimes it's how you say it. And Cam Newton has had this problem for his entire career of he says things and he doesn't articulate. Just like, you remember, did you see the podcast he was on? I think it was his own. And he had, matter of fact, he had a Lady London who went to Howard and with me. And Lady London said she asked him, what's your dress style? And he said, eclectic. And she was like, huh? And he was like, yeah, and she was like, spell it. And then he couldn't just accept. And the crazy thing is, he was right the whole time. The word he was looking for was eclectic. That was a perfect use of the word. Yes, his style of fashion is eclectic. Perfect word for it. But he couldn't get off the eclectic. And she kept trying to push him in the right direction. And he wouldn't take it and tried to make it. He almost he's almost like a guy who again, he's an NFL player. He's a celebrity. So he's one of those guys that has a lot of bravado. And you can tell, again, that when you're one of those guys of that type of stature, people telling you no, being told no doesn't often happen for him. Or people say no to him, he can probably get you to say yes because of who he is. And so anybody who challenges him, he won't just say, oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. Did I say eclectic? I should have said eclectic. You're right. He can't do it. And so go back to this thing where he talks about these, he doesn't say things the right way. And so, of course, and so I think people took it as if he was saying that your value as a woman decreases if you have multiple children. That's not what he was talking about. He was never saying your value as a human is less if you have children. What he's clearly saying is, on the dating market, if you have 4 kids, you are going to be less attractive than somebody who has 0 kids. That's a fact. That's not it. There's really no debate. I can understand why this is a big. There's literally no debate about it. There's no debate. And again, there are exceptions to rules. There are 100% exceptions to rules, but there's no debate. And again, we ain't talking about if you want to, take somebody to the room. We ain't talking about, yeah, of course, you have as many kids. If you look a certain way, you can find, yeah, nobody's, I'm talking about dating for marriage. I'm talking about different kind of, yeah, no, again, if you put, again, I'm not talking about the prettiest girl with the ugliest girl. Yes, prettiest girl with 5 kids always going to go with that over the ugliest girl, over a 2 versus 8. We ain't talking about that. But if you put 2 8s in a room and one of the 8s got 5 kids and one of the 8s got with 3 baby daddies and one of them got none, there's no question who single. Chris King only single. Chris, who you know? There's no question. Chris King going for. Ain't no question.
I mean,
I think what he's talking about. That's all I'm saying. Let's not play like we don't know exactly what the man talking about.
Well, and you know what the funny thing is though is that what's the brother's name that everybody acted like was the Messiah because he was saying this years ago?
Oh, you talking about my man?
Kevin Samuel.
Kevin Samuel. Oh,
Kevin Samuel was saying this years ago, and people were up in arms. But he's got a point. I think for women, if they do have kids and they are single, that yes, as the numbers go up, I think that's going to give single men without kids certainly some pause on, do I want to step into this given children? That's a factor. That's an important factor, especially for folks under 25, under 30, right? Maybe you may not care once you get to be 45 or 50, once you're just looking and you're just trying to be happy, because I'm hoping that if somebody got kids like that, most likely they are a bit older.
They're gonna be older. Yeah, it don't matter when your kids are out the house.
Right. So there's some factors. There's some factors there. But yes, generally speaking, Chris King meets a 27-year-old woman tomorrow that he single man. He meets a 27-year-old woman tomorrow who's great, right? Great smile, fun, supports him, loves him, pumps him up, whatever. And then she got 4 kids. I think Chris King may be like, listen, I can enjoy this dinner and I can enjoy this company. I can enjoy these different activities here. But when I'm actually going to make more than just a minor tangible investment here, right? A pinpoint transaction, right? Going to dinner or whatever here, kicking it, moving. But when I'm actually going to make more than a tangible investment with my feelings, my time, my emotions, shut myself down from the rest of the marketplace to pursue these things, he goes, I think Chris King, like most young men, would probably have some pause. Like, bruh, this woman got 4 kids. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, there's some things that I would experience dating this woman that I'm not sure I'm ready to experience yet. When it comes to someone with kids and responsibilities and stuff, I can understand that.
Yeah, you guys know how I feel about it. I put that in the chat a couple days ago. I'll leave it at that, though. I think you're right, JT and Trey. Probably look the other way if it's 4. I mean, maybe even 1 at this point. I'm 23.
So. Now you know what the problem though. Here's the problem though, right? Because unfortunately, a woman has 4 kids, a woman has X amount of kids, and that. But there's a whole lot of men that'll kind of string you along depending on the physical benefits of this engagement, this dance or whatever, right? And yeah, most decent men will be like, nah, look, we can date, but I'm not ready for whatever, right? But there's some that are just, hey, savage life. Listen, we're gonna ride this thing out till it implodes. I ain't going, I'm not really gonna commit, but I'm gonna do this dance for a little while because it's cold outside.
I got a question. How many kids does Cameron Newton have?
9.
9.
He has 9 kids.
Yep.
So for me, and I know I'm gonna be in a minority in this, but it's always tough with the contradiction, right? If it's cool for me to have 5 kids and I get to pick the lay of the land, I don't think that we should judge the sisters in the same light.
I got one for you though. I got one for you though.
Well,
Here's the thing. This is one of the ones where it's a double standard, and there are some double standards that go in the men's favor, and there's some double standards that go in women's favor. One double standards go in the man's favor, the woman's favor, being a what do you call them, trad wife, where you can stay at home. Some women can do that, and they don't want to work. And again, you look when you're Stedman to Oprah, you look real different when it's going on the other side, right? And what all the different social aspects that take place there. That's when opening doors, getting picked up for dates, that's getting drinks bought for. Hey, I don't even want to go there, but how many women? It's much different for a woman. You can go around what they call it, pretty privilege. You can go face card. You can go around just getting dinners, and you can get That's a double standard that goes in a woman's pocket. They got that one. Men, and again, I think women get more than men. Men get this one, where and the other thing is not only do they get this one, but Cam Newton he's one of the ones we talk about an exception to the rule. He's a celebrity. He's a former NFL player. He's still in the media. So sorry I cut you off. I get where you're going, but Cam, he has those two things going for him. And the other thing he has the great equalizer, not just being a celebrity, he's also extremely wealthy. So when you have all of that going for you, yeah, you can rise above 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids and still be in a different market because you're in a different tax bracket.
Yeah, for sure. But I just feel like, he probably shouldn't be the one to have this conversation. I myself, when I was out here, I had kids early. So no matter what I did, I got a 27, 20, 18, and 16. So it's tough for me to look at it like that. I mean, I understand where he's trying to go. And look, if a chick doesn't want to mess with a dude because he got kids, a dude, that's great. That's your prerogative. You are attracted to what you are. I just felt like Cam should probably sat this one out. I feel like Cam's delivery is terrible. And we don't like some things he just ain't got to say. Sometimes he needs a tall glass to shut the hell up.
Truth hurts, man. See, he told y'all Drake May was ass, and what Drake May went to the Super Bowl and showed you his ass. He told y'all that Jalen Hurts wasn't the top quarterback. Jalen Hurts showed out this season, wasn't a top quarterback. He told y'all that the Green Bay Packers, what addition of Micah Parsons wasn't gonna get them nowhere, and what happened? The addition of Micah Parsons didn't get them nowhere. I think instead of a tall glass and shut up, people need to start taking sipping the Kool-Aid and recognizing when this man speak, he may not give you delivery won't, but he be right. And people don't, just like Kevin saying, they ain't like Kevin saying was either. He was right.
Trey, that whole argument is like one of the most irrational arguments ever. First of all, the Green Bay Packers won 9 football games with Micah Parsons until he blew out his knee. Jalen Hurts had a down year, so does that mean he's a bad quarterback? And Drake May was he was second to the MVP.
Fool's gold.
To say that Drake isn't a good quarterback, okay, hold on. So Cam Newton's whole career was fool's gold. He had one good year when y'all went to the Super Bowl. He ain't did nothing else.
Drake May
underperformed.
Drake May wish he could have played like Cam Newton. Stop it. Don't ever do that. Drake May.
Why? They both
wish
did
he
the same
played
thing.
Cam
They
Newton.
went to the
Great.
They both went to the Super Bowl and they both played like trash and crapped the bed in the Super Bowl. Cam did too. Oh my bad, he didn't jump on the fumble.
So what I will say,
I saw them pick up a fumble in New England against New England too.
To Justin's point about Cam, I will say this. That is true. Cam Newton does have 9 kids and three baby mamas, right? So when he talks about the issues and whatever it is that men don't want to deal with, when it comes to dating women with numerous kids, brother Cam bringing them the same issues, if not more, to the table as well. When a woman talks about dating him with his kids and everything else too, like you can't outrun that. I'm not saying he's not right. I'm not saying this, but Justin is right here. Like, wait a minute. Like, that is an extreme. Cam Newton having 9 kids and 3 baby mamas is 100%, at least at the minimum, equivalent to a woman with 4 kids trying to date. Like, let's just be now. Trey,
not when you're a millionaire. Not when you have tens of millions of dollars.
It's the same issues. Same issues, Trey. Right. Like, listen, I understand. Oh, that's a compensating factor. That's an exception. But it's the same issue.
I don't think he's outside of that whole category. I think if he was an accountant, yeah. If he was an accountant, yeah, he's in the same. If he's an accountant, then yeah, he's in the same boat as what they be getting in CNAs. Them
Oh my
CNAs, they got that y'all in the same
do
boat.
them like that.
I'm being honest.
Why you make Cam
Trey.
working at the Lord? Why you doing him like
I'm
that?
just being honest. There's a difference when you are a multimillionaire. There's a difference.
There's three. What's wrong with you?
There's a difference.
There's three brothers on this. There's three brothers on this earth that should never give dating advice: Cam Newton, Future, and Nick Cannon. They got to sit it out.
And Nick Cannon, they be lining up to be with Nick Cannon, lining up, and somehow that's what I'm trying to tell you. Somehow he keep popping out. They line up for it because he got money. They line up. I'm just saying they be lining up for it. Only other thing I was gonna get at was y'all see Michael Jordan patting that kid on his ass?
Listen, man, that was a big nothing story. It was not. I think the kid had something stuck in his shirt. I think that's the story. I think the kid had something stuck in his shirt. That was a big nothing story. I don't know why people just had to do that. I don't think MJ was doing nothing wrong. I thought the video was a bit crazy, but I think the kid had something stuck in his shirt.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's with all the stuff in the news, Epstein stuff, all that. Everybody's just quick to call everybody a pedophile. So yeah, MJ got caught. There's no way MJ would be out there doing that in the middle of a. Come on, man.
But you know what's weird? You know what's weird about Michael Jordan? I'll say this: he doesn't make a ton of public appearances. He don't be outside like that. He kind of awkward. Now, I mean, it's weird to look at GOAT like that, like this and that. But he is kind of awkward, and it just has a tendency to do just weird, kind of awkward things, and that's just kind of what happens when MJ's in public. Like, I mean, like you could look at numerous different things. You're like, he's just a different. He's kind of an awkward dude. He's a basketball player, but he's just kind of a weird dude. I mean, it's just. I think that's something that we're learning here as he makes more public appearances. As you see it, there's just you can string together. I mean, the ceiling is the roof. I mean, MJ just kind of like he is. He's just a different dude. Like he's an awkward guy. We still think of Game 6 Michael Jordan, but seeing him now as a man in his mid-60s who doesn't make a ton of public appearances, and is maybe not always completely ready for the cameras, but in it, and he's just a different dude. It's MJ. You're seeing MJ the person so far removed away from MJ the player. He's just a different. I mean, remember MJ was wilding at the 75th anniversary. He had he was when he was on that trip. He was hugging Mary J. Blige. MJ just a different dude, man. Like. He was mugging Karl Anthony Towns for no reason, and then he just. I mean, I think that's just one of the things you have to accept with MJ is that he's an awkward guy. He's just a weird dude. He's old. I mean, I don't know. I realize it. I think we all notice
it. I don't even have any follow-up to the MJ thing. I think it's funny. I just wanted to make sure I shouted out the U.S. women's. I know Trey don't watch that Winter Olympics, but that U.S. women's gold medal game was a heck of a hockey game. And shout out to all the Wisconsin Badgers that helped the U.S. come through with a gold medal, man. We'll see what the men do. I think they start tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Anything else anybody want to get at before we get up out of here?
Hey, man, listen. I'm telling y'all get bored. You go ahead and watch them little bobsled and whatever. Watch that joint with no sound. Listen to the music. You don't need to hear nothing. You see. Watch me get in and out that thing.
Bobs? I thought Bob. That's when you get in the little tube.
Yeah, well, but they have like a solo bobsled thing that you get on. And you be listen, brother. You know what? Just hear internet.
Isn't that
a couple things.
Is that the luge or whatever it's called?
That might be what it is.
A couple of solo ones. It's like skeleton luge.
See if I can't bless you with something.
See, I just don't understand. Here's the only thing I don't understand about the Olympics. Who the hell is doing all these sports, man? I don't like to where you need to figure out who the best at. Why do I need to figure out who the best person at sliding down ice is? Who came up with that? Who is the top person in the world who can slide down the ice at 80 miles an hour? That makes no sense to me. Like, I never I just don't I just don't get that. I feel like Olympics should be like like curling. Who needs to figure out who the best person at what?
Like
I just
shuffleboard on
don't get it,
ice.
man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Well, that's what I'm
There's
saying.
events in the
Have
summer
all these
like
events
careful, you know, we-
that are strange.
Oh,
By the way,
they had breakdancing the other year. What are we
By the
talking?
way-
What we doing, man?
by the way, I don't know what Lindsey Vonn was thinking, but
Oh, I did see that. That was crazy.
I think that went about as disastrous as we all thought it would go, because you're going downhill ski on a torn ACL, and then there you go. Like, I mean, you know, I don't know what the thought process was there. Maybe it was just
How old is she? Was this her last Olympics?
Yeah, well, you know,
It is now.
42, 43.
Oh yeah, so she was. So this was the last. That's probably was the last one. That's probably the
right.
last one.
So maybe there were some questions about her doing it in the first place, but then after the torn ACL, I'm like, I made it. I'm gonna do this. Okay, what's the worst? What's the worst that can happen?
Found out.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't.
Oh, James Moore says, let's talk about Bobby Porter's 3-point contest. Yeah, it was bad.
He was there?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been. That was one of the ones where like you lead a 3-point contest to the real like Bobby's. You know they talk about like the dunk contest. Like, oh, I'm an in-game dunker. He's an in-game 3-point shooter. You're not cut out for no competition going around the world. Shoot them in the games. Yeah, it wasn't the spot for him.
I think it went exactly how I thought it was gonna go. I didn't. I mean, I picked him to win it because I wanted to. Bucks
You
to
picked
win
him.
it,
Yeah.
but-
You were convinced.
Yeah,
he was gonna
I picked
win.
him to win it, but
I bet you got a Bobby Porter.
if you would have asked me to, if you'd have asked me to put money on it, I wouldn't put money that Bobby wouldn't win. I wouldn't put money on Dame either. But hey, man, great for Bobby being there, man. I think he's been in the league 12 years, first time being there, so good for him, man.
Yeah.
I got one more though. We gonna get this Cream City curveball coming to you real soon. But I wanted to shout out Pat Murphy. Y'all saw they just extended him on a 3-year contract. One of the highest paid managers in all of baseball, though. So should be a great year for the Brewers this year, man. A lot of good things moving around, and we gonna bring you some great Brewers content this summer.
Didn't they trade my dog Freddie P?
Eat that, Craig.
You said what?
Didn't they trade my dog Freddie P?
They traded Freddie Peralta. They traded Caleb Durbin. They traded Isaac. They traded a lot of the good young core, but unfortunately, with no salary cap, that's just what the Milwaukee Brewers have to do. They got a couple studs back, and we'll see what we do at third base, man, with this Jet Williams guy. It's a plethora of talent, and I think one thing we talk about coaching a lot with the Milwaukee Bucks, and when we were talking about where you're ranking this roster and stuff like that, the reason why this Milwaukee Brewers team these last couple years is where they are is because of the manager or coaching philosophies of Pat Murphy. So coaching could go a long way, man. I think the Brewers got a shot to win the division again, not make the World Series. Though that's going to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I remember when Matt Arnold. You remember Matt? Trey, you remember Matt? Matt Arnold. He's a Marquette Law alum. He used to be coming around to those sports law events.
Who was he?
The Brewers GM.
Oh yeah.
The Brewers GM?
Yeah, that's the homie, Matt Arnold.
Yeah, he used to slide through there.
Hey, I won't say it on air. You let me just. I'll tell y'all when you're out there. I'll tell you.
Only I was talking about was Did you see this thing people talking about with tanking that there are some people who want the NBA to not hold the draft to just basically let the players pick, basically like kind of like how it is in college where you pick where you want to go. You like that, or is that a terrible idea?
It's
a curb tanking.
So you just don't. That makes absolutely no sense. I think that's a terrible idea. I get curbing tanking, and you'll have to figure out some stiffer penalties for it to stop it. But to just eliminate the draft altogether, does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of it. I think it hurt small markets. The whole idea behind it is, well, they said, well, you'd still have a salary cap, so you couldn't sign all the best guys, but it just seems like one of those things where kind of like colleges now, even if you were to get some young players who you thought were good, as soon as you figure out they are good, boom, they're trying to bowl. It just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I think the other, it's interesting now because guys don't make it to free agency anymore. Which again, it'll be interesting to see if. And I don't know if you heard Giannis's comments where he talked about, if I'm a free agent, at 32 or whatever, I'll be a free agent in a couple years. So guys don't typically make it to free agency anymore. If you want out, you just request out. But yeah, those again, of course, those comments made the rounds too. People were talking about that. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I think I like the draft. Another thing is, but all these leagues, that's the thing. That's what people are talking about. Oh, we want to take games away, not play 82 games. Like they have, there are people whose whole jobs are connected to the draft. There are people who they have shows. All it is about the draft. So I mean, yeah, I don't. Speaking of draft, one more thing now. What's up with your boy from Kansas that hop out? Like, would you draft him? Would you draft? That's DeBancer, right?
No, Peterson.
No, yeah. Would you draft him? The kid, it is an odd look where he just keeps calling himself out of games.
So I think he is remarkably talented. He is very, very good from a talent perspective. He is a top 3 cat, and this is a deep draft. I would say that maybe Chris King could probably weigh in on that too. But it's the problem I have with Darren P. And I'll make this comment sound like the old man yelling to the wind. Some of this seems to be some agent work. I think some of this, like people have said, hey, just get to the draft healthy. Some of this seems to be agent work, but something I think is wrong with him. And I think my issue with him, if I'm a GM and I'm looking, at some point you got to want to compete. And there are questions about how competitive and how bad you really want to compete. I know you got $3 million in your pocket, and you didn't get $3 million in your pocket doing this. And if you acting like this with $3 million in your pocket because you guaranteed to get another 10 or whatever your rookie deal is going to pay you in the first round, with 20 or whatever that number. I don't even know what the number is now for top 5. Let's call it $25 million. I would be very afraid to make that investment in you because I have questions about your desire and your willingness to compete. And you acting like an NBA player. You're acting like an NBA player that's on scheduled rest, right? Unexplained. I need scheduled absences. And at some point, you either want it or you don't. And I think I have significant questions about him being a guy that's hungry for anything at this point.
Yeah, it's a shame that he's doing this. It does seem like a little bit of agent work because that is a real thing. Like there are agents out there that are threatening to sue universities for bringing guys back too soon from small injuries and stuff like that. So it is unfortunate that that's happening. But yeah, JT, he's the number 1 pick. Like he is box office every time he steps on the floor. He's consistent as all get out. He can do everything, score from all levels, play defense. It's just, I guess we're going to have to see what happens in the next month because if he's not out there, if he's doing this same stuff in the tournament with Kansas in the tournament, then there's real questions about the competitive nature. I don't get mad at knocking down a 3 going up 18 points late in the second half and all right, yeah, it might be time. But, I would wish that he would do more for the sport and get out there and play. But, I mean, he is the guy at number 1. So, I guess we're just going to have to see early March into that Big 12 tournament and then into the NCAA tournament what happens there because he should play.
I think so, Chris. Say what?
I was going to say it puts a lot of pressure on the coach, right? Because when you're staggered, you're going to have to stagger these minutes now. So maybe he doesn't start the basketball game. If you only want to pay a portion of the game, maybe we put you in the most vital time, which is towards the end of the second half, and stagger your minutes towards the end of the first half. It's going to be interesting, though, because they had a cupcake the last game they played, but I believe they have Houston and Arizona coming up. Correct me if I'm wrong. So see what he does there. And then I agree with Chris. I really want to see this NCAA tournament may make or break his draft stock. He could drop some if he does the sitting out stuff. And it'd be a darn shame because I agree with Chris. He's the most talented kid in college basketball this year by far.
Well, so here's the thing. the impact. You know what this is going to do? This is the perfect. So I believe he got one of the bigger NIL deals, if not the biggest NIL deal for a high school basketball player coming out. Right? The rumors that Kansas paid him somewhere between $3 and $4 million, per year. But the issue now, though, is if you look at this and you're the Kansas boosters, your ROI, the return on investment. I mean, it's highly unlikely that's going to happen if this continues. So the question you ask now is, what does this do for the structure of some of these NIL deals? What does this do for the structure of some of these NIL deals? Because some boosters going to jump out there and be like, okay, we got burned doing this before, paying this on this kid. Listen, are we going to start seeing NIL deals with in-roster bonuses, right? With games played, which is crazy. But NIL is the Wild West at this point. And, again, it's the Darren Peterson rule where they're like, listen, you're going to get half your money in the beginning of the season, and after you play in X amount of games, you'll get the second half, once we reach that threshold. Maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't seem unreasonable for boosters of these NIL collectives to structure deals like that for some of these guys who are making seven figures.
Yeah, and this has already come up, JT, are they going to pay 3 players $1 million that they know will go out there and compete every single minute and may even be there for multiple years? They may just be a great college player. And so I think that doesn't even only have to deal with the boosters. Like, I would have to imagine the coaches and the recruiting guys and the GM, like, they are looking at that too and are like, yeah, this little 1-year rental for $3 million, was it really worth it if we flame out in the NCAA tournament and this guy sits in the Big 12 tournament and it just didn't end in anything for our university? That's very possible.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think that portal. I think that portal. If I'm a booster, that 100% looks a bit more appealing to me. I got guys who've already played in college who've done this, and you're right, that are hungry, that are happy to wear the jersey. I think that's the crime in this NIL right now is it's individualized. I mean, but players, pride in your jersey, pride in this. It's just like, okay, well, what's in it for me, right? What's in it for me? Cut the check, and we'll see. And I think, you jump in that portal, like Chris said, you get guys that are hungry. Maybe they'll come and they'll stick around for 3-4 years. A perfect example, something that does not happen today. My man Jaden Bradley from Arizona. He's been there 4 years? He's been there 4 years, transferred out to Alabama, and has never left. And he is a very good player. He's one of the best point guards in America. And that doesn't happen. He stayed. And I know Arizona's got a bag, but I'm gonna assume that bag's not Kansas's bag. So I'm thinking about.
Yeah, no, it is. Always stuff to think about. Good stuff there. Anything else you guys want to get at before we get up out of here?
Brother, this has been a heck of a show. We have turned this into TV.
Yeah, I know. We're going a while. I don't know what time this thing started, but it does feel like it has gone on for quite some time. All right, let's jump out of here. 139-118. Bucks beat the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. I see people talking the Lakers game. Lakers are up 3 over the Clippers right now. Man, if you're here again, we appreciate it. Of course, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, rocking out after the Bucks. Got a big time dub over the New Orleans Pelicans. They are now 24-36 games under 500, sitting in the 11th spot, looking to move up into the play-in. James Moore, appreciate it. Again, if you were with us tonight, you were in the chat, if you watched us on YouTube, watched us on Twitter, wherever you saw us, and when you watch this on replay, again, we appreciate you. Appreciate the super chats tonight, of course, and everything that went with it. Please make sure that you tell a friend and tell a friend and tell another friend about the crazy best market in all of the land. Yeah, this has been the Cream City Media Group production. From the Group Alert.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
And if I am an enemy, it is only because I dare to tell you the truth. Oh, rest in peace, Jesse Jackson. We'll talk about him next on Sunday. Shout out, Jesse. Keep hope alive. Don't take no.
I am somebody.
Even if you're on welfare. Courage.